Bitcoin has finally entered the weekly cloud. Is this the initial move that gets us all the way up to $42,000? And what's cracking, you guys? Welcome to the Mango Grove. My name is Krisha, and this is today's Bitcoin analysis video. I have the one, the only, Sean Dexter, not next to me, but he is above me right now. Sean, say hello to everybody.
Good morning, everyone.
Sean, how are you feeling today?
Fantastic. Bitcoin start of the week with a great weekly close and now seeing some follow through on today's candle as well.
So Sean, in fact, you were talking about this in the live stream. You were actually expecting a bit of a rally based on something you saw on the dashboard, correct? So let's
Yes.
actually get on over to the dashboard very quickly. Got the dashboard in front of me. You can find this on app.mangoresearch.co. Pull it up. Bitcoin is completely free. And I believe, Sean, you caught something on Bitcoin's trends. So get into the drop-down menu and holy moly.
Well, here's the thing, guys. We've not been doing anything special with our analysis on the dashboard. It's the same old redundant trade idea, right? Where we use the 12-hour time frame as a barometer for whether to have a bullish mindset or a bearish mindset, right? We've been doing this since December, since the beginning of this freaking year. If the 12-hour flips short, we have a more bearish mindset from the short to the midterm timeframes. If the 12-hour flips long, we have a bullish mindset. Well, 4.9 days ago, we flipped long, right? Prior to that, we were keeping an eye on the 12-hour time frame. When we flipped from short to neutral, we were like, hey guys, something interesting is going on over here. The bear should be seeing follow through towards the downside, considering everything that has happened, right? Because the bears had claimed some key weekly levels. But the 4-hour flip long, all right, cool, we can let that slide. But when the 12-hour flip from short to neutral, the bears were just not seeing what they should be seeing. And then we flip long. There was no way you could stay bearish at that point, right? Because the bears just weren't seeing the follow through. So yeah, now we're seeing that drift to the upside that even Ajesh talked about on the Discord chat.
Yeah, and right now, guys, you need to understand, I'm just going to knock off our webcams for just a bit. I want to draw everyone's attention to, well, the volatility. Sean, the 12-hour volatility is at those blue numbers,
Yeah.
telling us that, hey,
Yeah.
this is healthy volatility that we're seeing on even the 12-hour time frame. So if the bulls want to pick this up a bit more, they can. Okay, so they have a lot more juice left in them, and that's how you sort of read that volatility index. Now, bringing everything back on, and Sean, I like the point that you made in that the bears were not seeing that follow through, right? Where was the push from the bears? Where was the sell pressure from the bears? And a good testament to that can actually be found on the charts directly, okay? Now, in the last video, Sean, I brought this level just to make sure y'all caught up. I brought the $25,000 and $52 region level, okay? $25,050, the Krisha level, $25,052. Now, for those of you who've been following along with me throughout these daily videos, where did I get that level from? Keep it simple, stupid, right? That one last freaking bull market indicator, which was the monthly 10 SMA, that was the only one that held. It was the only one that held. That's the 10 SMA level, $25,052. I just smacked a chart on the monthly, smacked a line on the monthly time frame, got on over to the lower time frames, and Sean, we have been getting supported on that monthly level, transferred on over to our lower time frames. The lower time frames have been respecting this level. The bears failed to win the fight here.
Yep.
Right?
The bears should have seen follow through after losing that neckline, but at the end of the day, Krisha, you were right on the $25,000 level, right? A lot of an analysts were expecting continuation towards the downside, but hey, Krisha was like, no, this level needs to break before I expect continuation towards the downside. Even though she had a more bearish tilt, that level held, the Krisha level held. So yeah, props on calling out that level, Krisha.
Okay, so now what we're seeing is continuation on Bitcoin. Now, this was also sort of expected just based on how that weekly closed, right, guys? If I zoom into this picture, what do you see on that previous weekly candle? How did it close? That, my friends, is a bullish engulfing candle, right, Sean? When we see a bullish engulfing candle, probabilistically, statistically, we often see continuation to the upside on this, right? But now, Sean, the weekly picture, now you brought up something just before we started the video, and I'm just like, whoa, really? Something's happened on the weekly time frame. Sean, you
Yeah,
brought
and
up.
I'm surprised not enough people are talking about this. Like, this should be the talk of the day. This should be the talk of the week. We closed into the cloud, right, guys? We reclaimed the cloud level and we did it from the bottom of the cloud now, which is really, really bullish, right? Again, bears are showing their weakness. We saw the bullish engulfing candle that Kusha talked about. We opened into the cloud. Now the big question is, do we see a close into the cloud, right? Does this week close inside the cloud as well? It's going to be a really, really big sign if we do.
Yeah, I think this weekly close, Sean, just based on what you brought up with the whole Ichimoku, honestly, I freaking missed this. So if you had not brought this up, I wouldn't even know we're currently living inside the cloud. But this is going to be a very decisive close in that think of everything that's happening right now. Mango dashboard volatility flashing healthy numbers telling us that, hey, the Bitcoin bulls look like they want to take this up further. Bitcoin on the weekly time frame has finally penetrated the cloud and we're living inside the cloud and it's green. That candle is beautifully green. But Sean, in addition to this, okay, if I turn on the Mango dynamic indicator on the weekly time frame, another cornerstone
We're seeing
indicator
that
that
too.
we've been using to
Yeah.
keep us on the right side of Bitcoin, right? As far as the cycle is concerned, are we bullish or are we bearish? We use the Mango dynamic
Yeah.
indicator to help us with make that decision. To sort of tilt our biases in a certain way. Now, ever since Bitcoin actually did take out the dynamic back here in Jan of this year, that kept us bullish, right? That kept our biases swinging bullish. And hey, we were right to do that. I mean, this was a beautiful uptrend all the way to $30,000.
And remember, guys, the Mango Dynamics' entire purpose is to keep our lives easy when assessing the trend being bullish or bearish, right? To not overcomplicate things. It was actually created initially only for altcoins, but when we found how well it was working for Bitcoin as well, especially in the higher time frames, we started using it aggressively on Bitcoin as well. That's what Krishna's talking about. Above the Mango Dynamic, we stay bullish. Underneath the Mango Dynamic, we get bearish, right? And that's why when we start closing underneath the Mango Dynamic, all these candles over here, seeing 1, 2, 3, 4 candles, we should have been seeing the bears see follow through towards the downside. Now you can see the bears resisted the mango dynamic week after week after week. We closed underneath it. You can see all those wicks rejecting where the bears were accumulating shorts, right? Well, now the bears are not seeing that follow through towards the downside. They are getting anxious. You can see them beginning to close out shorts. And as we start drifting higher and higher, more and more shorts are likely going to get closed out. So keep an eye on this, guys. If we start closing above the mango dynamic, you guys know how to flip your mindset. Kusha, give them the level for the mango dynamic. For those of them who don't have access to the mango dynamic, give them the level that we're looking at.
Yeah, so for those of you who do not have access to the dynamic, okay, the top resistance, it's a range that we're looking at here. Top resistance comes in around $26,978. The bottom of that dynamic comes in around 26,336. Okay, now if you guys want to keep up to date with these levels, because remember, this is a bull run slash bear market signature that we're following here. Okay, so if you want to keep up to date with these levels, make sure to hit the sub and the bell icon because we will be bringing these levels up in every daily video. Okay, and they're moving dynamically, guys. With every
Yeah.
weekly open, there's new information on this indicator. Alrighty, now
Kusha, what would
I'm
your targets be if you do close above the mango dynamic? What would your first target be?
Okay, so the first target, I mean, it's I think it's pretty straightforward. I think this is something that you have been bringing up in your past videos. First target is not too far away. I'm looking at the Tenkin. The Tenkin is also a very important sort of thing, right? Now, from where price,
Yeah.
I actually honestly, just based on this price action right now, the way price is sort of, well, it's pumping on your lower time frames, and I feel like we've sort of entered a very like a bit of a volatile range here. Okay, if you just look at this wick here, if you look at this candle
Mm,
here, how it sort of broke down, right? So I believe that price can actually get, it's going to be a magnet all the way up to that Tenkin that comes in at around $28,294. However, I think things get interesting for the bulls when we take out the Tenkin, because we're not just taking out a cyclical indicator. Okay, in addition to that, Sean, we're going to be activating a bullish pattern. Okay, and here's the bullish pattern. If I take you guys on over to the daily time frame, I'm going to turn off everything else. All right, what I see on Bitcoin's chart right now is a double bottom slash Adam and Eve like formation. Do you see it, Sean?
yep.
It's
Yep.
this right
And it's
here.
especially these kind of patterns that I like where they're kind of messy, right? They're ugly. They're not your perfectly drawn patterns. It's these patterns that tend to work out best.
Now the measured move to this double bottom like formation, let's go ahead, take the measured move, plot it on the potential break. Okay, where will this take Bitcoin up to? This will take us all the way back up to $30,000, Sean. $30,000.
Yep. And guys, I want you all to keep at the back of your minds all the bears who are not seeing the move that they would have expected to see towards the downside, right? Them closing out their shorts, right, is going to be them buying into the market. Closing out a short is you applying buying pressure into the market. On top of that, you're going to see the bulls enter as well because their confidence is going to start increasing, right? The bears should have been seeing downside and they're not. And guys, I want you to keep at the back of your minds all the shorts, all the bears who are going to have to close out their positions as price drifts up. Because remember, when they close out their positions, they are buying into the market. Closing out a short position is you buying into the market, applying buying pressure into the market. And the bears are feeling anxious right now. They should have seen downside pressure, especially with what's going on in the macro market as well. You're seeing oil apply pressure on the markets. You're seeing Dixie apply pressure on the markets, but Bitcoin refuses to go down. As a bear, I'd be feeling anxious.
Sean, speaking of Dixie, you sent me a very interesting chart. I was hoping that you'd be able to, talk a bit more about Dixie. I think this is a good segue into it. Can you see the
Yeah.
chart on my screen? Yes, you can, and here it is. What are your thoughts on Dixie right now?
So we highlighted the breakdown on Dixie all the way back in like November-ish, right? And we did see that breakdown. Now, Dixie has been putting in a downtrend channel that is marked out very clearly over there. And we were expecting and rather hoping for Dixie to reject against the top of the trend over there, the top of
Yeah,
the channel, and
yeah.
come down. The dotted line is what we would have liked to see Dixie do. The problem area would have arisen if Dixie broke above the channel and then threatened that zone that I have marked out over there. That is the danger zone over there for Dixie, right? Or rather for all risk markets. If Dixie breaks past that danger zone, that's when all risk markets are going to see extreme downside pressure, right? Well, we have seen Dixie break past this channel now to the upside. Bitcoin should have been making its way further down into the 23K region, into the 22K region, but we're not seeing that. We're seeing Bitcoin drift up while Dixie is pressing up against this zone over here. It could be one of two things. It could be the market telling us that, hey, Dixie is up against a major resistance zone. We don't think Dixie is going any further. We are going to start positioning back into risk assets. And I don't think it's a coincidence that we are seeing Bitcoin start drifting towards the upside just as Dixie starts seeing resistance at that zone over there. So if we start seeing Dixie follow that yellow trend line that I have drawn out, that yellow projection, that's likely going to line up with Bitcoin beginning its edge to edge move. And Krisha, you can take us back to the cloud now, right? What do I mean by the edge to edge move? And there we have it, Bitcoin entering the cloud, right? Guys, if you don't know Ichimoku theory, essentially when you enter the cloud like this, that's when you can start looking towards the top of the cloud, the flat of the cloud. That would be our target, a target that we've been talking about since December, since Jan, since November, actually, $42,000 on Bitcoin, right? The confirmation for this move would be when we claim that Tenkin that Kusha talked about, the blue line over there. So weekly candle close about the Tenkin really starts giving the bulls confidence for that bigger, larger move to the top of the cloud.
Exactly, and this is where things are getting super interesting for Bitcoin, right? Now, just to summarize the entire picture, like think about what's happening right now. Dixie is up against resistance, okay? In addition to that, our Mango dashboard is saying 4 hour is bullish, 12 hour is bullish. This trend could continue based on what? Well, the volatility right now is looking super healthy, telling us that, hey, the bulls likely have a bit more juice left in them. But now, even if they do have that juice, they take price up, what are they threatening at that point? Well, let's get into the weekly cloud, right? That weekly dynamic cloud. We're threatening to take out dynamic resistance to the upside. Dynamic resistance is what keeps us on the right side of Bitcoin cycle. Are we bullish? Are we bearish? Now, in addition to that, guys, we're living inside the Ichimoku cloud, threatening an edge to edge, right? But in addition to that, we're also threatening to, well, take out a beautiful W-like formation that could once again signal continuation, right?
The measured move for this W-like formation is, you said $30,000, right?
$30,000, okay? Essentially taking Bitcoin all the way back up to these highs right here. So yeah, guys, this is Bitcoin's picture. The first upside target that I'm looking for the bulls to get to comes in at around 28.2K, okay, essentially that weekly Tenkin. And then after that, we're looking at the top of the range, all of those highs right there at around $30,000. That is going to be the next most immediate upside target. Alrighty, now there's the picture. Sean, do you have any final thoughts on Bitcoin before we wrap up?
Personally, me, if we claim the Tenkin, which is coming around 28,300, I'm going to be looking all the way up to 40,000. I don't think the highs are going to hold. I really think the bulls are going to take out the highs rapidly at that too, and we could be looking towards 42,000. A quick move towards the end of the year, surprising everyone, because this move already is very, very surprising, right? A close above the Tenkin is going to be a confirmation of bulls having firm control. At the moment, the picture is still a bit precarious because the bears could definitely reject price when it comes up against the Tenkin. But if we start closing candles above the Tenkin, I'm not looking towards that resistance holding. I'm going to be looking towards $42,000 edge to edge trade.
Now there you have Bitcoin's picture, guys. We really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, smash that like button, and we'll see you guys in the next update. With this, trade safely, trade stress-free, trade the mango way, trade the easy way. Ciao, you guys.